against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society.
Well, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't get that, man. They go through all this trouble to get here and then come here and vote Democrat.
The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's broadcast of The American Awakening. Some interesting things tonight. I've got a kind of a review of I think it's today's Dan Bongino episode. I'll put a link to whatever episode it was in the. I'll put a link in it to it in the post when I send this out. But I think you'll find it to be pretty interesting. It has to do with his take on Brennan and their how he did the how Brennan could have pulled off the information collection within and nobody ever knowing about it, not leaving a trail with the CIA, NSA, journalist, whoever. Dan Bongino lays out one possible scenario, which he acknowledges is just a guess based on information that he's been able to collect and gather, and I'm suggesting another alternative based on, well, my actual involvement in this area, in this industry, cyber warfare for the Defense Department, social media, psychological warfare. I think I can add a really interesting perspective, especially being that so many of the people that I worked directly for in psychological warfare, in influence operations with both Defense Department through Dynology, General James Jones, Obama's National Security Advisor, and others, right? So I think I can give an interesting perspective on a good question that Dan laid out. So let me pull up Dan's a little segment of Dan's broadcast, I think, from today.
Stories. Folks, Obama knew about Spygate. You're like, oh, well, we knew that. I know you knew that. But there's been a big open sore. Why am I talking about this now? Well, John Durham, the United States attorney who's looking into the whole Spygate affair and debacle, he has recently turned his attention, and this became a story last week while we're bringing it up now again. He has turned his attention to John Brennan. You saw the story in the New York Times we covered last week. Brennan is now a target. I believe Brennan is sweating big time for a number of reasons. I believe Brennan knew. I believe Brennan misled the FBI and Harry Reid and the Democrats into opening up an investigation based on Steele's information. Brennan misled them into believing that it was based on sound intelligence. It wasn't. It was garbage. It was all political oppo research. Brennan just wanted Trump and his team investigated. That's not giving any of them a pass, as I've said many times, talking about the FBI and Harry Reid. I believe they were knowingly misled. They wanted to be misled, if you get what I mean. Yeah. But one of the open sores here on Brennan is how did he do, and his his intelligence community? How did they manage to pull off this spying operation without leaving a paper trail that could have been easily found by conservative investigative journalists who were doing real reporting? Where is the paper trail?
Where is the paper trail? Excellent question, Mr. Bongino.
Let me set this up for you a little bit. By the way, I'm going to hat tip in advance Lee Smith, who did great work on this. But before I get to Lee, I want to show you this article by the Daily Caller, which is fascinating because it's an article that's been forgotten largely. It'll be up in it's linked in the article I have in the show notes by Lee Smith, so you can't miss it. Former U.S. Attorney, by the way, this is from 2017. Former U.S. Attorney says, Susan Rice ordered spy agencies to produce detailed spreadsheets involving Donald Trump. Okay, so now we know. For those of you still claiming that, well, Brennan might have been doing this as Obama's CIA director, spying on the Trump team, in other words, Joe, follow me here as the audience ombudsman. Yeah. But, it was a rogue operation. Brennan was just doing his own thing. Really? Because a lot of people forgot that story about Susan Rice, Obama's national security advisor, for those of you liberals who conveniently forget that. Obama's national security advisor, Susan Rice, ordered the National Security Council to produce detailed spreadsheets of the Trump campaign and who they were contacting and what they were talking about and that kind of stuff. Did you forget that story?
I have not forgotten, Mr. Bongino. So, your perspective, Dan's perspective comes from working in law enforcement, working with the FBI. My perspective comes from working as a contractor, military too, in uniform, but primarily as a contractor. How I'm trying to suggest something here. Now, and I'll put this up on the screen in a moment, but contractors, what he's describing, how you would evade the normal reporting, FISA, anything like that, what he's describing or being discovered in investigation is, once Brennan, people seem to think that you've got like the FBI or the CIA or the NSA and you've got, it's all these agents. No, it's not. It's actually agents. And then a massive amount of contractors, analysts that just do application development, do like I did, IIA, interactive internet activities, kind of social media psychological warfare, right? You have you contract all of these things out, and that's where they sort of circumvent all of the normal security protocols that would prevent something like that, right? So I offer to Dan here this suggestion. Think about this. You pointed out that was Obama's national security advisor, Susan Rice. Well, I will see your Susan Rice and raise you my former employer, Obama's national security advisor, General James Jones, who owns, and I'll put it up here right now, as I'm talking, who owns the ShadowNet, who I built the ShadowNet for. He was a former NATO Supreme Allied Commander. General Jones is he was the chairman of the board for the Atlantic Council. All of these groups, all these organizations have been directly tied to Ukrainian influence. And I'm not talking like government sanction. I'm talking for profit, right? So government election influence in the Ukraine. Paul Manafort was our partner, right? All of these people tie directly into there. So if you're looking for it, look at just think about the screenshot that I just put up a moment ago with ClearForce. Because ClearForce, what you're talking about is being able to pull up a database with this information tied into these other intelligence agencies. Well, look at ClearForce. It's tied into your social media. We need to find out just how extensive that is. It seems like a fair question someone would want to ask, seeming that General Jones just partnered with Facebook to restore election integrity worldwide, right? So you look right on ClearForce's website. It tells you that they are using your social media both in and out of the office. They're using real-time criminal background checks, which I guarantee you includes intelligence agencies. They're using travel, which I guarantee you includes components of State Department, right? Passports, things like that. And it uses those to build these predictive behavioral models based on all of that, all of that information. So if you're looking for a way that that someone within the Obama administration would have passed off information outside of the normal collections means that most anybody is never going to be able to trace unless they knew who they were and what they were looking for, like I do. I give you Obama's National Security Advisor, just the previous one. Okay, well, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. Please, if you're following this, if you see what's going on, if you want to at the very least, know the truth, whatever that may be, please share this. I'm working on shadownet.tv right now. That's going to be very cool. You'll be able to log into your Patreon, to your Patreon account and connect directly up to it through your Patreon account, except for it's shadownet.tv. It's a WordPress website. I am beta testing it now. I've had a lot of people helping me out on my Patreon site, patreon.com/theshadownethacker. Again, that's patreon.com/theshadownethacker. Getting a lot of support there, and I can use it, right? These little nickel and dime things, laptop's not nickel and dime. But I got the new microphone to give it good sound. I'll be able to do good recordings with these, good interviews with these. Absolutely can use any help you can get. This takes time, this takes effort. I'll put in the time, I'll put in the effort, but I've been, putting in a lot of money on this, and I don't have a lot of money. So if you can help contribute to the Patreon site, I am trying to put together a Tiger team, which you can go to the Patreon site. It's like the $25 tier. It's like a Tiger team tier, and if you do that, I'll be doing a beta launch of shadownet.tv, pre-production launch, and I really need people to help, just like kick the tires and download, connect up to the streams, tell me if you have any problems, make any suggestions to make it better, make the experience better, and just to make sure that I'll be able to do it with the resources. I think I can do this very inexpensively, doing it the way that I'm doing it, and I've built out enterprise level collaboration portals, 30,000 for 30,000 people in South Korea with the Department of Defense. So, I mean, it's doable. I'm certainly capable of doing it, but I don't have a massive unlimited government budget right now either at taxpayer expense. So, any help you guys can give me would be greatly appreciated. Going to have some great content. Going to have live streams on there. Going to be able to live stream the speaking engagements that I go to this summer. So anyway, running long here, but I thank everyone for following this. Again, you have any questions, let me know. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful and blessed day.